Yo, you guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and before we do get into this preview of Michigan versus Wisconsin, before we do get into this one, make sure you guys are subscribed on my channel. We are at 429 subscribers, trying to get to 430 and trying to reach that 500 mark as we continue to grow. Greatly appreciate any support, and if you guys can, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and you guys can always unsubscribe later if you do not enjoy my videos. Other than that, let's cue the intro and get right into today's preview. Alright, so we all know that Michigan did struggle in the second half against Rutgers. They only beat them 20-13. However, Wisconsin has been really struggling against good teams. They lost to Notre Dame 41-13. Now, the game was closer than the score looks. Wisconsin was actually leading the game 13-10 to start the fourth quarter. Then they went down, was it 17-13, and then 24-13. And then Graham Mertz threw two pick sixes in the final 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, and that really boosted the score up. Graham Mertz threw 4 interceptions. He only had 1 touchdown. By the way, that was his first touchdown pass of the season. He was 18 for 41 with 240 yards, and he has just not performed well for Wisconsin this season and really has struggled throughout the stretch. He did good in his first couple games last season. Wisconsin thought that this was going to be their quarterback moving on. He's only a sophomore, but he is really struggling right now. Now, rushing wise for Wisconsin, they have Malusi, number 6. He is their top running back. He had 18 carries for 54 yards. And Wisconsin's defense is really the whole team right now. Wisconsin's defense really carries the team right now. We'll get into that later after we're done with these stats here. So Kendrick Pryor and Danny Davis III, those are the wide receivers to look out for Wisconsin. They are really, really good. Kendrick Pryor is number 3, and Danny Davis III is number 7. Kendrick Pryor had 6 receptions for 69 yards and 1 touchdown. The only touchdown Wisconsin had, he had it. Danny Davis, he had 5 receptions for 64 yards. This is all against Notre Dame, by the way. And Clay Cundiff, he is a tight end, number 85. He had 1 reception for 43 yards. And number 84, Jake Ferguson, he had one reception for 11 yards. Wisconsin does like to go to their tight ends a lot, and so, watch out for that. But, obviously teams realize that, and they will cover their tight ends closely. So I'm really excited to see how our defense goes up against Wisconsin's offense. Obviously Wisconsin's offense is not that good. The offensive line, I think Michigan defensively should win that battle, at least this year. Usually Wisconsin's offensive line is good, but this year it's not that great. Usually Wisconsin has their running back like Jonathan Taylor and a good offensive line, and they really just pound the ball against teams. In fact, that's what they did against Michigan in 2019 and last year. I mean, last year we all know what happened. We got blown out. I don't even remember the score. I barely watched the game because it was a blowout all the way to halftime, and I stopped watching the game. That's how bad it was just to watch the game. So obviously this year will be a different story, though. I think Michigan will take this one. It just depends how well our offense does, and if our defense can continue having success and shut down this I want to use a nice word, but poorly offensive unit for Wisconsin. They really don't have a great offense. They just really have not been that good this year. Looking at their scores, Penn State beat them 16-10. Eastern Michigan, Wisconsin beat Eastern Michigan 34-7, and then Notre Dame beat Wisconsin 41-13. So against good teams, Wisconsin's offense has not done anything. They only scored a combined 23 points against Penn State and Notre Dame. I mean, against the total yards this year for Wisconsin is 400. Wisconsin has 400 yards per game, yards per game this year. Michigan has 454 yards per game. Yards allowed on defensively, Michigan 304 yards allowed per game, and Wisconsin 212 yards allowed per game. So like I said, the defense is really really tough for this Michigan offense, as Michigan loves to run the ball. But Wisconsin's going to challenge that run game, and they're going to do exactly what Rutgers did. Rutgers in the second half really just stacked the box and pretty much showed blitz, and if we were running it, they were blitzing everybody, and then if we're passing it, they would try to get some people back, but really they did stop the run in the second half, and Michigan only had like 2 first downs in the second half because we just could not pass, or we couldn't run the ball, and we had a hard time passing. McNamara could not hit throws, and it was just a tough offensive stretch for Michigan in the second half. So we do have to step it up against Wisconsin's defense. That is really what's going to win Wisconsin the game, is their defense. And I expect this to be a low-scoring game, like 17-3 or 20-10 or something like that. But ultimately, I do think Michigan will win. Now, I'm pretty sure right now Wisconsin is a 1-point favorite, according to the spread. But Michigan on ESPN, according to ESPN's Football Power Index, Michigan has a 69% chance to win, and Wisconsin has a 31% chance to win. So Michigan is really going to have to pass the ball in this game, so look for Michigan to really try to get their passing game going and try to pass the ball more in order to score points against this Wisconsin defense. That's what they're going to have to do. I will be very surprised if we keep pounding the ball and just run it right up the middle every single time and pretty much control the line of scrimmage, our offensive line. I'll be very surprised if our offensive line does control the line of scrimmage and we pound the ball just like we did against Washington, because this Wisconsin defense is really elite. They have very, very talented players, NFL talented players on the defensive side, and that's really what has carried them this year, is their defense, keeping them in the game. Penn State, the defense played phenomenal against Penn State. Really what hurt Wisconsin in the Notre Dame game was the turnovers. You look at the turnovers, the total yardage against Notre Dame, Wisconsin had 314 total yards. Notre Dame only had 242 and only 3 rushing yards in that game. That is crazy. Only 3 rushing yards and 239 passing yards for Notre Dame. Wisconsin, on the other hand, had 74 rushing yards and 240 passing yards, but they had 1 fumble lost and 4 interceptions, including 2 pick sixes. That's 5 turnovers on the offensive side. That just simply cannot happen in big games. If you're a Wisconsin fan, if you're a player, or just for Wisconsin, that just cannot happen. Now, Notre Dame did have 1 fumble loss, but that's a 5-to-1 turnover difference. That is just bizarre. You can't do that. Michigan has been very careful with the ball. They have 0 turnovers this season, and actually is the only team, I'm pretty sure, now left that has not turned the ball over, at least D1. So yeah, Michigan very careful with the ball. They have not turned the ball over yet. Meanwhile, Wisconsin, they have turned the ball over a lot. So Wisconsin has 9 turnovers altogether. They have 2 fumble loss and 7 interceptions thrown. That is not really good. And then Michigan, on the other hand, has 0 turnovers allowed for their offense. So Michigan, they just have to focus on the passing game. For Michigan to win this game, they're going to have to pass the ball against Wisconsin's defense. And really, if you're a Wisconsin fan, the only way that you probably think that you could win is if your defense steps up, makes plays, gets a pick six or a turnover or something, and you win this game like 13-10 or like 10-3 or something like that. A score like that, because I really don't see Wisconsin's offense doing really that great against our defense, just based off upon their offense playing against better teams this season already. But we will see. Michigan is yet to play a ranked team. Wisconsin would have been their first. Washington would have been their first if they didn't lose to Montana. But that doesn't mean Michigan isn't going up against good teams. They played Rutgers. That is a good football team. Rutgers is 3-0, or they were 3-0 coming in. They're 3-1 now, and now they have a chance to really prove if they are good against Ohio State this week. So we will see how that game goes. But yeah, Michigan has played Rutgers. They played Washington. Those are 2 good football teams. Washington is actually 2-2 now. You know, obviously they're not the best teams, but those are Power 5 conference opponents. Wisconsin, on the other hand, they have had one of the toughest schedules so far. They played number 4 Penn State already, lost to them 16-10, and then played number 9 Notre Dame. Those are the current rankings for those teams, and lost 41-13. So Wisconsin did play a tight game against Notre Dame. Obviously, the score doesn't reflect the whole game because it looks like it was a blowout, but it really wasn't. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Wisconsin is going to have to win this game defensively. They're really going to have to rely on their defense to win this game for them and get a few points from their offense. Michigan is going to have to win this game by passing the ball. I don't think they will be able to run the ball, but we will see. The offensive line has to perform better. But yeah, I mean, against Rutgers in the second half, it did not look good running the ball, so I do expect us to really have to pass the ball more than running the ball, but we will see. I could be wrong, but yeah, my score prediction, I'm probably gonna say, based off the last games that both these opponents have played, I'm gonna go 17-3 Michigan winning this game in a defensive battle. Michigan really ultimately pulling away with this one and winning it 17-3. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think. What's your score prediction? I do think this will be a close defensive battle, and I think Wisconsin might fix their turnovers against Michigan because they do want to win this game, but we will see. But yeah, other than that, guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.